One of the key areas of my business is my manager level and my managerial level. And I've spoken to the teams, and I also know what I expect of them as well as a leader of a business. And there's a couple of key areas that I need to know about. One of them is what they need to know about, rather. What the managers need to know is they want to quickly be able to see the performance of their team, and quickly being kind of stressed word on that. They also want to be able to then break down and see where each of their team members are doing well, where they're doing badly, and also areas where they could easily see improvements. So that kind of low-hanging fruit, because I target them on some pretty heavy longer-term targets and also some pretty heavy short-term targets. And so any of those quick wins are massive for them. And finally, they obviously want to know how much cash the team is going to make in the future. As a business leader, I ask my managers all the time, how much you're going to make in this quarter and so on and so forth. So I'm kind of keen to see what that kind of forecasting, or they're keen to see that forecasting, and I am, and how they can make more money from their team. So would you mind kind of talking me through the manager level and showing me how NorthStar can work for that tier?
Yeah, absolutely. The screens that we've just been looking at would be your senior management team, but they would also have access to the level below and below. But thinking about it from a team perspective rather than a company perspective. So we're looking at Emma again. She was our director on the previous page. And if she's looking after Liverpool and Manchester, she's got various teams, this screen allows her to have that snapshot of how are the people that are working for me doing. So if we'll use Emma's team as an example, she's got 2 direct reports, so Liverpool and Manchester. So we can see how they're performing overall. The position on the star is a score, which I will go into in a bit more detail on another page, but it essentially allows us to see out of 10 just really quickly how people are performing on all the different parts of their role that they need to do. And we can see an average for my teams as a whole. So as a team manager, that might sort of spur me to, right, what can I do to help increase the average score and get that to a 7 to an 8, because that's going to mean we're performing more. So if she wants to see about Chris's team in particular, so the Liverpool team, for example, if we click on Chris's name, then it will take us down a layer, and then we will see the people that report directly to Chris. So, and you could have any number of people on the screen, of course. Again, their position on the star is the score. So just as a real, for Chris to then see, right, who is it that I need to give some help to today? It's Natia, this consultant over here. But we can flick it to a tabular view as well to get into the real, the actual numbers, the real detail. And you'll decide what the key metrics are for your business. So we've got BD calls and client meetings on here. You might have that more focused on, candidate registrations or new candidates, depending on the markets that you work in. So as a manager, I can really quickly see, if we're not all working together and I maybe don't have so much of a, feel as I did on the desk when they're all around me, right? Jobs is our big focus for this week. How's everyone doing on jobs? And you can see that it's all pulling straight through from the CRM. So manager can also see collective financials for the team. So we can see how we're doing against target this month, where we're at year to date. So keeping it in the moment. I'm not having to wait for those monthly reviews or quarterly board packs or whatever. And also, as you mentioned, wanting to see where we're actually going to get to. So based on how my team is performing, what is that run rate and what are we likely to come out at year end? So this looks at the last 6 months plus activity of your consultants and projects forward. So if we keep going at that momentum, it will give you that prediction. And you can see that right from the top of the business right down to each team. So it really gives you a feel for who's absolutely smashing it, who needs a little bit more help, etc. So the financial is of course really key. As a team manager, I suppose my ultimate goal, apart from having happy, healthy staff, of course, is to increase revenue. Happy, healthy staff can help me do that. So increase revenue, and I think of that as I sort of break it down quite simply. That there's 2 ways that I can look to achieve that. So I either need to make more placements to get more revenue, in which case I might want to have a look at the ratios of my team. So how are we performing? What are our activity metrics? So if it's taking us, 7 jobs to get a placement, do we know enough about these jobs? Are we qualifying them properly? Are we working them effectively? Or a flip of that, I suppose, could be that actually it's taken us 7 jobs to get a placement. I need more people. I need more consultants, because we've got we're in a hot spot at the moment. We've got loads of work, and actually this gives me that evidence to go to my boss and say, look, we've got loads of work here. We need to think about resourcing in this area. So look at, my activity. Can I help this? Can I do a training session on job qualification, on candidate, briefing them pre-interview if we're looking at perm, or on how to get our clients to, trust those people that we're sending over. Or my other way of thinking about revenues, this would be the first one, if I'm happy with the number of placements that we're making, would be to look at the value of them. So can you talked at the very beginning, Matt, about, how can I get little incremental gains? So we don't necessarily need our consultants to always do more, though I know we're always pushing more and more. But sometimes we can work smarter, not necessarily harder, which is a bit of a funny phrase. But if our perm fee is at 20%, it's not a bad number, but even getting that to 25%, 22% has a lovely impact on the value of those placements. And that's something that I, as a team manager, I can impact. I can, can I go and renegotiate fees with those clients for my consultants? Or am I thinking, if I look back over different date ranges, these percentages are just dropping. Why are we dropping? Do I need to do some training on fee negotiation? How can I help my team? And rather than me spending 80% of my time running reports, if I even know what data I need and where to get it from, and then having no time to do something with it, we're putting these key metrics in front of team managers so that they've now, right, I can really quickly see that's something I can impact, and they've then got the majority of their time to actually go and help their teams and get into the detail. So a snapshot that is actually made up of an awful lot of information, but hopefully with the colours and the graphs, just make it really easy to absorb, so that I can then go and impact that performance, that productivity.